Birthplace of Martyrs, the Afghan valley that idolizes its suicide bombers. In a haunting echo of devotion to a chilling cause, the lush Tangi Valley in Afghanistan celebrates its legacy as the birthplace of martyrs, where young men dream of becoming suicide bombers. Ismail Ashuqullah, a former Taliban fighter and local to the valley, wistfully recounted to the news agency AFP of his own missed opportunity to be a suicide bomber, stating, quote, "When I was informed by my superiors that I had to join the battalion, I was delighted that God had chosen me. I felt a lot of joy." This valley, strategically located near Kabul and once a stronghold of the Taliban, is steeped in a culture that reveres martyrdom through suicide attacks. Though the Taliban claims these attacks targeted foreign and Afghan troops, the UN report from 2019 highlighted the devastating reality. Around 1,500 civilian casualties were attributed to Taliban suicide attacks in that year alone. Armin, come back. Okay. So I wanted to cover this because this was an interesting article that actually, once again, our lovely D, as per usual, brought to my attention. And it profiled this valley in Afghanistan. And it profiled several people who still worship this way of life, so to speak. It looked at, basically it's interesting to consider, like, these people that missed their opportunity to do this kind of a thing when when the Taliban was still fighting the, Western backed Afghanistan government. Um, and it talks about how there are these families that they would, when their sons would leave madrasas, they'd be like, "Okay, son, it's time for you to go join this, and it's time for you to do this." And that when one father found out that his son was killed in a suicide attack, he went to his wife, and the first thing he said is like, "Congratulations, your son is a martyr." And so it was going through kind of, and these how these attitudes still very much remain. Um, so Armin, before I go into more detail, what do you think about this?
It reminds me of some childhood memories when we were in elementary school. Was it elementary school or was it a bit higher? Yeah, but we were in school and we had a teacher who was telling us about his memories in war, like the Iran-Iraq war, right? And a grown man, and we were children watching him, and a grown man started crying in front of the rest of all of these kids about why didn't he die? Like
Oh my god.
why did his friend get to die and he wasn't martyred? Like he missed the opportunity to die, right? To be martyred for Islam, right? And then we also had I remember we also had another teacher. We had another teacher that he was with pride telling us about his memory of shaming the mother of a martyr for crying. He like for saying, how do you not have no faith? Why would you be crying? Your son has gone to the best part of heaven. He's in much better place than any of us could even imagine. And he's shaming the mother for not having enough faith to think something bad has happened, that that she has lost her son.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, I remember. This is not again my childhood memory. I remember on news seeing some Palestinian mothers having celebrations for the death of their son because they were murdered. Like they had parties and they were happy. They were saying, imagine a mother. Like I was watching a video. Those other two were my actual memories. This was a video I watched. Okay, imagine a mother saying that this is the best day of her life was the time that they came to with the news to her and told her that your son has died. And that was the best day of her life because her son is now in the best place he could be. And think what religion does to your brain. Like that's something that goes against your very nature. A
Mhm.
mother.
Mhm.
who still loves her son, is so filled with joy because her son has died and now he's a martyr. It's unbelievable.
Holy crap. Yeah.
This is how religion rots your brain, guys.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, here's a quote from one guy. He said, "We had no weapons to compete
Oh my
with,
God.
so we saw fit to equip ourselves with explosives and enter the places shielding the infidels to break their jaws and reduce their bones to ashes," said Abdul Wahab Siraj, another suicide volunteer. "We were so crazy about the level of law that life had no importance to us. We were trying to get closer to him as soon as possible through martyrdom."
Mhm. Look at the comments that Diaz found for us. So somebody is saying Muhammad Qaim
Mhm.
is saying proud moment here. And here's to the article about the Afghan Valley proud of its young suicide bombers. So this is a person saying proud moment. And here's another person saying courage with a um you know, what is this called? What is this emoji called?
Flexing, a little flexing arm
Flexing.
muscle.
Oh, flexing. Flexing armors is saying should be learned only from those people. So this guy is happy with that. Yeah. So that's pretty. Yeah. What a waste. What a waste of passion and talent and potential.
Mhm.
Potential. Imagine a human being that could be so many different things, experience so many different things, and this is what you get instead. What a waste.
Yeah. It's I think when I was reading that article, this might sound really weird, and I'm gonna try to, like, phrase this in a sensitive way because I don't wanna, um, make people confused about where my heart lies, like, who I'm supporting. But when I was reading this, I was reading the story of this guy who was doing jihad, and he started when he was, like, a teenager, and now he's 25 and he's a father. And he was basically talking about how he missed his chance, right? And we know this, we've been talking about how there's a lot of Talibs that feel this way. And I was reading it and I was thinking about when you live in an environment like this and you are so surrounded by these attitudes and you this is something you deeply believe. This is a sincerely held belief, right? I felt a weird sense of sympathy for him that he missed his chance. Because I was thinking how if you really believed that, if you really believed this, that that would actually be very, very emotionally distressing. I think that'd be very emotionally distressing to if you really feel like you missed your opportunity to achieve the greatest achievement
Yeah.
as imbued in you by your community, right? And I think
It
it's important
really,
to consider
really.
that because I saw a lot of comments on this article, not on our article that on our website, but one of the source articles of people basically really demonizing Afghans after reading this article. A lot of disgusting comments and saying like, "Oh, and people say that we want to bring them here, blah blah blah." Like we need to understand that people don't arrive to these kinds of attitudes and beliefs if there are other opportunities for prosperity in front of them. Like,
Exactly.
these attitudes arise when there are no other options in your environment for success. And so this becomes how you achieve quote unquote success. And I think it's important to consider that not only so that we can not be bigoted against all
Demon.
Afghans because we shouldn't, that's stupid. Um, but also understand that if the conditions of your environment were the same way, you would probably believe the same thing yourself.
Exactly. That's very
So,
important. That's very good. That's a very important message. That's very important.
yeah,
It's hard for to show sympathy when it comes to. I mean, understanding doesn't mean excusing. People don't understand that, right? People
exactly.
think like when you try to understand what conditions can lead to something like this, and to try to um, condemn but also sympathize, people think that you're excusing something. You're not excusing anything. The punishment, the prevention, it should all be there. But if you do not have understanding, then you're going to have a harder time figuring out how to stop it. So you
Exactly.
do need understanding. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very good point. Very good point. Very good.